We are talking property investment. How do we build wealth through property? Well, we buy it, firstly, as a starting point. Ntateka, welcome back.
Dumela Katlego.
Okay.
Ke teng ka ra.
Sharp. Kunziso kerekeng, ne?
Yes, ntse ke thusa bazalwane Katlego.
Ask his bazalwane, he'll come back. He's going to come back just now. Let's start with our question for the week. Afropolitan, let me remind you, you send your emails through to katlego at kfm.co.za. Whatever questions you have, we'll try and get them answered for you. We've got two that we were going to go into. Charles Markwe, who we've asked to answer a couple of questions for us, and Ntombi as well. So we'll do those next week. But here's one here from Cynthia Silimela. She says, "Hi Katlego, my question is with regards to the bond, which is a 20-year repayment agreement, but ke popile and I want to pay it off without being penalized. How can I go about it?"
Thank you for that question. She needs to notify her bank, okay, give her a 90 days notice period. In that way, they won't penalize her for early payment.
So she just informs them that she requests the settlement amount?
She said yes, and then she tells them that she wants to pay them in full, and then they'll tell her that if she gives them a notice that in the next 90 days, she'll be squashing everything, then they won't penalize her.
Does that only apply if you want to amortize everything, so or is it
only when you're selling a property, and then also when you're settling?
Okay. Yes. So what if you just want to pay a lump sum into it, not to settle, but a large chunk of it?
That's fine. You're not settling, so no, you're not asking for title deed. No, you don't have to do anything. Just put it there.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you've got access bond should the need arise.
Yes. So you can dip back in and
then you can just borrow a little bit.
Things happen.
Things happen, mechoma.
But we're kicking off our series on installment of sale.
That's correct.
And for those that haven't been listening, or you might not know what installment of sale is, basically put, it is being able to buy property directly from the seller,
That's correct.
without necessarily having a third party who affords you credit.
That's correct.
Bon, I've been listening. So
well,
we're late buying property, essentially. That's kind of what we're doing, isn't
it? Yes. Kile buy me chom.
That's exciting. I know a lot of people are excited about it on Twitter as well. They were saying, we've been wanting to hear about how you actually do this.
Yes.
Because it's not a lot of conversation that happens around it.
Yes. And the thing is, it's a common thing, but people are not aware that, they can record it properly.
Okay.
So let's just unpack it and give it to them.
Roshapa introduction. Let's go into the introduction.
Yes. Thank you, Katlego. Today we're going to be dealing with elementaries so that we build this foundation nicely as we progress with our series. Everybody gets to understand what is happening. Okay. So installment of sale as governed by Alienation of Land Act of 1981. Okay. So in other words, before 1981, people were doing it and barobana, babato So now it's governed. So let's unpack this. Alienate, what does it mean? It simply means to sell, exchange, or donate. Okay, act, it simply means the law governing the selling of land using this method.
Okay.
Right. So what are the requirements? An installment of sale, it is a transaction where the period takes more than 1 year. Okay, and then the minimum installment have to be 2 installment.
Okay, so let me understand. It's longer than 1 year.
It's longer than 1 year.
Does it have a maximum?
No.
Okay.
But obviously, as a seller, you wouldn't want indefinite. I mean, you want to eat the fruits of your labor while still alive.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So that's the first thing, that it has to be longer than 1 year.
That's correct.
Okay.
And then the terms. The installments have to be more than 2.
More than 2 payments.
That's correct.
Okay. And the property itself, does it matter? Can it be a residential property? Can it be a commercial property?
It matters. It has to be a residential property.
Oh, okay.
According to the act.
So you can't buy like a fam.
You can, but in that one you use different methods like shares, joint venture. You can,
okay.
but it's governed totally differently.
Okay.
So this one is meant to protect me and you, Katlego, the lay people.
Yeah.
So that
okay.
That's correct.
Another important thing that always shows up when we're talking property or the exchange of assets or the purchase of anything of that nature is putting it in paper.
It has to be in black and white. The parties have to be known. Katlego and Kevin. Katlego is the seller, Kevin is the buyer. There has to be a price.
Okay.
And everything must be in black and white. Then you know that it is enforceable.
All right. And then also, when it comes to, we said you can't buy commercial property necessarily through installment of sale.
Yes.
But if, let's say, Katlego owns said business,
yes,
and I get that property through my business,
yes,
am I able to get into that agreement? So with Gavin, who's a human being, and this legal business entity?
Yes,
okay.
yes. As long as it's a residential property, you are able to. So it can be you as a business buying a residential property, that is still fine.
Okay.
Yes, there's nothing stopping you. It can also be a trust buying a residential property. That is also fine.
Okay, I'm very excited about the week ahead or the weeks ahead in terms of unpacking the documents that are required, the specifics that go into this actual transaction.
I can't wait myself. So, but we needed to explain this so that we make a nice build up.
Is there a minimum amount, by the way? Is a property must be X amount with X amount?
Not really. I mean, there are certain things where we have to use a common sense.
Yeah.
If my property is bonded with the bank, okay, I owe 100,000. There's no way I can sell you this property for 50,000.
That's true.
How am I going to settle the difference? So whatever that I sell you, and if my property is, there's a word called encumbered. In other words, it's got a mortgage bond. So I have to sell it more than that mortgage bond. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, I won't be able to settle.
Well, there you have it, Afropolitan. If there are questions around what we've discussed this morning, and of course, just generally the installment of sale process, send your emails through. Again, I remind you, katleago@kfm.co.za. We will post some of that information on my Facebook page, so you can get all of that there. Conclusions when it comes to this intro?
In fact, if people can go to your Facebook, under your videos, we've got pictures, videos. They have everything that we've dealt ever since we started. So it's more than 15 videos that they can learn and and enjoy themselves.
Let me tease you as well, Afropolitan. Hopefully by the end of June, we're going to start our series where we actually have free seminars where you can come and we just unpack the process of buying property.
Definitely.
So I'm looking forward to that. We will inform you in due course, of course, as to where it's going to be and so forth. When Dr. Gavin can just
let them come to the studio. Let's all mingle. Let's talk. Let's learn.
Well,
let's enjoy.
That lady who Bob
hey, Diaboy.
Sharp Dr. Gavin.